Hi, my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you love anime, heartfelt reactions, and deep dives into symbolism and themes, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into today's reaction, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love, subscribe if you haven't already, and please do ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of fun. If you want even more exclusive content like early access to my reactions, full-length anime watch-alongs, and an amazing community of fellow anime lovers, check out my Patreon. You can find it in the description box below. Your support truly means the world as it helps to keep these reactions coming, and I'd love to have you join our cozy little anime family. If you notice I look a little different to my react, it's because I'm refilming the intro and outro. Unfortunately, we have had some technical issues. My noise gate has cut me off in places. I have replaced the missing words with subtitles. It's far from ideal, but I have since fixed the issue. I unfortunately did not pick this up until editing. I'm still not 100% sure what has caused the problem, but I have tried to fix it the best that I can. So I ask you to please be patient and to bear with it. I only had two options, which was either I don't post the reacts at all, which I feel would be a complete shame because even though the audio is a bit scuffed, it is still a good react, or to replace parts of the missing audio with subtitles on screen. So I have made do with a really bad situation. I know it's far from ideal, and thankfully we have fixed the problem now for future recordings, but just for these next few recordings, please bear with me, please be patient. Again, I sincerely apologize and enjoy the react. Today, we are reacting to episode 26 of Death Note. I'm still not fully emotionally recovered from episode 25. That was one of the hardest things to watch. As much as L is not a morally justifiable character, can't help but feel sorry for him in the sense that he didn't deserve to die the way that he did and for Light's ego. And I understand that people are going to argue that it's all part of the game and what did you expect? Of course, Light was going to kill him. And I knew Light was going to kill him. It was very obvious that this was the inevitable goal. My point still stands that it's almost an emphasis on how life isn't fair. As much as L has done horrible things, he didn't deserve to die the way that he did, all because he was pursuing what he thought was a worthwhile cause. And thinking back to episode 25, I have a feeling that over the next couple of episodes, we're gonna see Elle has planted some traps for Light. Never doubted for a minute that Light was a hero. We saw that in the beginning of episode 25, Elle went to see Watery and they were having a conversation. And yes, that could have been about Watery deleting information if anything was to happen to Elle. But I think there's more to it, solely because we weren't privy to that conversation. And usually, if you're not privy to a conversation that's happening between characters, there's something else going on, there's something else about to happen. So what that means is I think Elle has set little traps along the way that is going to reveal Light's true identity. I think inevitably Elle is going to have the last laugh over Light. Light is so confident and so sure that now that Elle is dead, nothing can stop him. He is about to create this new world. He's taken over the task force. He can thwart it. He can divert it. But I just have a sneaking suspicion that Elle would not go out that easily. Elle is not about to allow his death to mean nothing. He's going to catch Kira, whether dead or alive. And I think that's what's going to play out over the next couple of episodes is we start to see those wheels in motion and understand that just as Light has plans upon plans, Elle is also the same way. And I think we forget that because so much of the series is focused on Light. I think it's framed in such a way that audience may not necessarily suspect it because obviously Elle is not a main character in the same way as Light. And we're used to Light getting his inevitable way. We're used to Light coming out on top. I think the show is building to us not suspecting that Elle would already have things in place that we wouldn't necessarily be thinking about because he's dead. That's just kind of my prediction as to where I think the story is going to go, is that there's more to Elle's death than meets the eye. Inevitably, Light's downfall is going to be the plans that Elle has put in place prior. But without further ado, let's get into episode 26 and see What happens now that Elle is truly gone? I wonder if there'll be a time skip at some point because I don't know if this is just going to proceed straight after Elle's death or whether there's going to be like a bit of a time jump where Light is older than what he has been, but we'll see. It's cruel to make me relive that moment. Watery. We didn't even get to learn much about Watery's background. Does the manga reveal more into him? I do intend to read the manga at some point, but I would be curious to know if there was a little more about Watery and his background, and maybe even else that the show doesn't delve into.
Kira has found a way to obtain information from the task force headquarters. There are 141 people in
Is
the
this
police
just
force who have access to
an
classified
episode
information
rundown
regarding the
of
investigation.
everything that
I
Elle
am
did up
sure
until
that somewhere
death?
in this list of police officers and the people closest to them, we will find our suspect.
Maybe it is.
On December 14th, 12 FBI investigators entered Japan.
Ray
Here we are on
Pember.
December 19th. Using prison inmates, Kira conducts experiments manipulating his victims' actions before they die. He needed to know how much control he had over his victims before he could use it against the 12 agents.
Ooh, the music is so good.
I suspect Kira had to be one of the people being investigated by the FBI
I
between
think
the
this is
14th
probably like
and the 19th
my
of
favorite
December.
OST I've heard in
In
Death
fact, I
Note
have
so
no
far.
doubt.
It's just so tragically soft and beautiful.
Ray Pember's fiancée, Naomi Misora.
One of
So
the
it's
best
her.
characters that
She
was
was
here for
working
2
under me
episodes and they killed
because she
her
was to
off.
come to Japan with her fiancé. I heard she was seen with Pember. It's possible that she may have found a lead. If that's the case, did Kira manage to get to her first?
I still haven't forgiven for that.
At this stage, I'd like to place wiretaps and surveillance cameras in both households.
That's my son you're talking about. Are you honestly telling me that you suspect him?
I
Yep.
do suspect him. I want to tell you, I'm Hell.
I still think that's one of my favorites.
Relax, Light. While it's true that Kira hates losing, it's also true that most people would rather win than lose. It's human nature. Look at that. He's going for the win. I suspect that you, Light Yagami, are in fact
Back when
Kira.
times were simpler before this trauma.
You think I'm Kira?
It's sad to look back on. They were
What would
really
it take to get you to believe that I'm not
good
Kira?
friends
Please, isn't
despite
there
the fact
something?
that Light
If
was
you are not
Kira.
Kira, that truth will be revealed. Just let things run
And
their
that battle
course.
of wits was so fun to watch, and now it's gone. I'm a bit unsure how the next couple of episodes are going to
Our
go.
audience rating should go up 60. No, more like 70% after this.
Contained a prediction of
That
who gets
dynamic's
proving
gone
that he is
now.
Kira. We understand that the second tape contains a message to all people of the world.
I am Kira, the news anchor Mr. Kazuhiko Hibima.
And that dynamic was like the heart of the story.
Stop this broadcast! We can't let him finish.
This is the police. Stop this.
Another favorite moment.
There's a strong possibility that this Kira's a fake. No, we should think of him more as a second Kira. Mr. Yagami, I'd like your permission to ask your son to cooperate with us on this investigation.
Wonder if Matsuda will start to suspect Light.
There you are. Hi there, I'm Light's girlfriend.
But I
Miss
don't know,
Alma.
because he's
Nice to
so
meet you.
good at hiding his tracks and making everyone kind of believe
I'm
that
not exactly sure
he's
how you'll
innocent.
take this, but regarding Misa Amane, there's something you should know. We've taken her into custody under suspicion of being the second Kira. It's an act. There's no could be about it. You are Kira. Light, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I know I must look pretty bad in here, but this useless pride, I suppose I'll have to. Get rid of it. Ryuzaki, I realized that I was the
Plans
one
upon
pushing for
plans upon
confinement, and
plans.
that I asked you to put me in here. But this whole thing's completely pointless. I'm not Kira.
I
You have
miss
to get
this
me out of
Light.
here.
This
I
was
just
the
heard
nice
2
Light.
weeks worth of criminals
This
were
was the
just
Light I
murdered all at
actually
once
would have
just
liked
yesterday.
more than the original.
I don't understand what's going on here.
going to kill you here and then kill myself.
What? What are you talking about, Dad? You can't! That's crazy!
It's too late.
Please stop, Dad! I'm not Kira!
I'll see you in hell.
My son. From one murderer to another.
No, Dad!
I'll see you in hell.
Such an amazing line. Also a great scene. I feel like when I finish the show, I'm gonna have to go through like my top scenes. There's so many that are so good, but I'll have to go through my top 5.
You and I live together 24/7, and that's how we'll remain until we've brought Kira to justice. If Matsuda dies, our suspicions about the Yotsuba group would be confirmed.
Do you think there's anything I can do to save myself?
Matsuda, you idiot.
Matsuda.
Good luck, Misa! I'll be here ready to
I hope
celebrate when
nobody
they
in the
decide to hire
Tatsuo
you.
ends up
Always
getting
been my
killed
dream
by
to
Light,
become
but
Kira's wife. I know he'll leave me by his side.
I don't trust
And
him.
you know why? Because I'm the second Kira.
So,
I wonder how Misa's gonna develop over the next few
Camera
episodes.
show.
I don't see her living to the end though.
Those people is Kira, right?
Yes, I've got a lot of evidence to prove it.
Higuchi, ditch the cop. He's driving away.
This is traffic control.
The first few episodes of the Yatsuba
Everyone.
arc was really slow and it kind of dragged, but towards the end it really picked up and ended up being some of my favorite shows so far. Like the tension, the suspense, the mystery, Light's plans, plans, the paper hidden in the watch, Watery being a secret sniper, like definitely one of my favorite arcs. It just was quite slow at the beginning.
You probably won't believe me, but I've got a special notebook. If I write someone's name in it while thinking of their face, that person dies.
What is it, Mr. Yagami?
It's
A monster. Ram.
A Shinigami. There have to be 2 notebooks, possibly more. This isn't over yet. The following is the record which contains everything I have investigated on the Kira incident. The fact that now you are reading this message means I am no longer alive at this moment. I hereby leave this record as my firm achievement. That is all.
Record gone to. Or is it Light seeing record? Light. But maybe this record has been sent to other people. Possibly.
Yeah, that's true. Who could have guessed that Watari was actually a famous inventor?
The paper says he founded orphanages around the world using the fortune he inherited from his
Oh,
patents.
He was a fine man.
and he adopted L.
But it doesn't help us now. We can't continue investigating using this place as our base with L and Watari gone.
I've created a voice filter identical to the one Ryuzaki used. We can use it to make the police think he's still alive and give them orders like we've been doing so far, but who is gonna take the place of L? Where will he work from? And what do we do with the notebook?
Come on, what are you talking about, Light? You're the only one who can take on the role of L.
Here we go. You pretty much said in episode 25 you were going to step into a leading position.
Killed by Kira because he challenged him, and that's not something I'm eager to do.
Even Ryuzaki said so himself. You would be capable of succeeding L.
Just as I thought. It's too simple. It's no fun without Ryuzaki here.
That's my thoughts. That's why I'm worried as to how the next 12 episodes are going to go.
Ryuzaki may be
Light's dad's hair is getting grayer and grayer every episode. God love him. The subtle aging's really clever.
In fact, it'll be possible for me to act as L in the comfort of my own room. I can be Watari as well, but it'll be difficult to pull off with Mom and Sayu around. Things would be easier if I could rent a one-bedroom apartment.
Well, considering your age, it certainly wouldn't look odd to anyone if I let you move out on your own.
Hey, yeah, and then we'll be able to use Light's new apartment as our task force headquarters. That's a great idea.
All that's left to figure out now is what to do with a notebook.
What's going to happen to the entire base that L built, though?
Just have one of us take it and hide it somewhere where no one else can ever get to it.
Please, Chief. It's gotta be you.
Yeah, Chief, we can count on you. You're a pillar of justice.
That pseudo was volunteering, bless him.
All right.
We'll avenge Ryuzaki together.
Look, let's take it easy already.
Light? This is
Okay.
our first date in forever. Can't you enjoy yourself a little more?
Having memories of Elle. He even said it's no fun without him, so it's almost like he kind of regrets it a little bit.
Yeah, I've already rented a place.
Victory?
Over Kiyomi and Mari and Yuri.
Do we even get his reaction to Rem being gone? Or like, are they just gonna skip over that and pretend it didn't fucking happen? What? Why is she so... I think what frustrates me the most is she just doesn't behave like a normal person. And I know people are going to argue like, but she's not normal. That's the whole point. But she just doesn't behave human-like in terms of the fact that everything she does is in relation to Light. Everything she does is in relation to the plot. She doesn't actually seem to have any basis as an individual character, which is really annoying. It's really frustrating to watch because it's like Rem being manipulated by Light to kill herself to save Misa should be a point of contention between them if she was written to be anything other than obsessed with Light, if she had any other personality than a Light obsession. And don't get me wrong, Misa's a very intelligent character. She was very likable at the beginning of the show, but the more the show goes on, the more I'm beginning to have gripes with the way that the writing portrays her, because this should have been something that gets brought up. There should have been a moment of conversation between the two of them. We should at least have glimpsed how Light manipulates Misa into believing it was for her own good. But she also should have moments of doubt because Rem protected her. Rem looked after her. So why are we not seeing that? Why is that just kind of phased out as if it doesn't matter? As if that whole relationship dynamic between Misa and Rem was nothing. I don't like that. That's wrong.
Hey, now that Elle's dead, does that mean you finally settled the score with him?
Yeah.
So in that case, I guess things are gonna get pretty boring from now on.
Possibly.
That's not true, Ryuk.
Huh?
From this moment on,
I am the god
I'll
of
show
the...
you the creation of the new world.
Oh.
Oh god. So dramatic. He's taking it to the extreme now because there's nothing to hold him back. There's nothing to prevent him now because Elle's gone and he's in charge of the Kira investigation. So we knew it was going to ramp up. Oh, you asshole. Oh, you absolute ass.
Daddy?
And he's gonna kill everyone at Yatsoba.
This will be the rebirth of Yotsuba. Yeah, it's a new start. Huh? Hey.
Nope.
Namikawa, what's wrong? That's impossible.
Oh my fucking god.
In April 2012, Light Yagami, age 23, joined Japan's National Police Agency. In the summer of 2012, Kira's killings increased at an unprecedented rate. Numerous people around the world were terrified of Kira, and yet there were just as many cheering him on. Gradually, their private thoughts became public opinion, and soon certain nations began to accept Kira's judgment. The world was heading into a dark age in which Kira's will was the only law.
There's plans on plans on plans.
It's Al. He's dead.
Yeah, there's plans on plans on plans, meaning what I suspected is true. That Light isn't just going to get away with this unchallenged. There's going to be people who perhaps have information that Elle has given to them, or somehow have received that information from Watery, that are going to ingratiate themselves with Light essentially and work together to bring him down or find evidence to bring him down. I can't believe he killed everyone associated with Elle. I understand why he's done it. He needs to clear the slate. He needs to clear anyone that could be connected, that could put things together. But it also doesn't shock me that when you ramp up the killings, people start bowing to Kira's will because they're terrified. They're not bowing because they want to, they're not bowing because they agree morally with what Kira is doing. They're terrified for themselves, for their family. If you have to rule through fear, then it is tyranny. It is a dictatorship with Light as the leading founding figure. Like, there's no two ways about this. If you're not ruling because people morally agree with what you're doing or find it morally justifiable. Of course, there's going to be people that do. People in my comment sections that agree with Light, and I just really don't get how, when the whole show is literally telling you why Light's actions are not morally justifiable and why we shouldn't support Light, and yet you still have people that just completely ignore all of that and go, yes, everything he does is correct. Completely ignoring the fact that there is no process, there is no judicial process that he's undergoing. He's just presuming that every criminal is automatically guilty. And yes, we did have that bit of information as in episode 21, 22, where it's like Light's going over the differences between the new Kira and the old Kira, and is like, oh yeah, but the old Kira is different because he actually investigates into the criminals and he actually looks at their background, and if they feel sorry for what they've done or if there's justification for their crimes, he doesn't kill them. And yes, there's kind of glimpses into that, but at the same time, I'm still of the understanding that, to me, that was, we need to insert this because we haven't actually specified how Kira is different to Yatsoba Kira, and now we have to insert this 22 episodes later because we didn't fully explain the methodologies that he goes into. But at the same time, even if that is the process, the amount of people that he kills, he cannot theoretically do research into every single criminal. It's impossible to do, and he is still human. Even though he goes on about being God in the world, he is still fundamentally human. He can't do that. He can't. It doesn't work that way. So people are sat here morally justifying his actions when there is no actual judgment going on. It's just the criminal is convicted by the legal system, and Light presumes that they're guilty and therefore worthy of being killed. You know, it's completely ignoring corruption. It's ignoring that people are falsely accused of crimes. It's ignoring the fact that some of these crimes that he's killing people for may not even be big enough crimes worthy of being executed. It's just anyone that is a criminal is automatically guilty in Light's eyes, and it's a fundamental flaw in how he sees the world, automatically assuming that everyone he kills is guilty by the fact that they were convicted. I still just do not understand how anyone can agree with his behavior. I get that people argue in a world where you feel disempowered and powerless and feel like the people are getting away with murdering others and harming others. It's nice to have someone looking out for the little people. But again, how long before the little people are who like comes after? That's the point. When does it stop at criminals? When does it just become he targets anyone that fundamentally disagrees with him? And this is the fundamental flaw in supporting someone like this, is that anyone that speaks out against him is directly threatening him, is directly in contrast to his views of the world. And what you end up with is someone who is almost an egomaniac in that they cannot accept criticism. And God forbid anyone does that, they may end up dead. And as much as L wasn't morally justifiable in a lot of his actions too, and the whole process of this show is questioning your own sense of morality and questioning where your morals align, who do you agree with, and looking at whether such a world that Light dreams of is a utopia or a dystopian nightmare. You're not supposed to fundamentally agree and just not question the behavior, not question the morality, not question his actions in the same way that L is not a character that you are supposed to wholly and completely morally agree with. This whole show is about what ifs. It's about questioning, can we align ourselves with this new world, or would we stand against this world? Would we allow ourselves to be dictated to and controlled by one egotistical man with a god complex, or would we challenge that system? Would we fight against that system? Would we appeal for a freer society? Would we appeal for a fairer, more democratic process? So I think it's to show us truly where we would fall in line with the rise of a tyrannical dictatorship, in the sense it's make us look at, would we be complicit in such a system, or would we fight against the system? How far would someone have to go before we would speak out against it? And how far is the people in elite positions willing to go in order to challenge Kira? And obviously not very far, but it's for self-preservation reasons, not for the benefit of the people. It's to protect themselves and their families. And in doing so, they're also validating Kira and allowing Kira to feel that they have the support of the world in general. But yes, we are supposed to question this show, not fundamentally agree with everything that we see. Okay, so this is a cutscene that Judy sent me on Patreon. Let's watch this and hope I don't cry. I'm probably gonna cry, aren't I?
Ryuzaki, we've gathered here for your private funeral. The public has no idea you're gone. We're going to make it appear as if you're still alive. This
That
is
makes
not over
sense
yet.
with what we've just
We'll
watched.
continue to work with police from around the world. I swear to you, we will catch Kira and arrest him. That's our promise to you. So, you can rest in peace.
That's right. We'll catch Kira and avenge Ryuzaki. Solving this case will be our last gift to him, to Watari, to all of Kira's victims, and to all the people of the world. I swear, right here and now, I will send Kira to his execution.
Is Light coming?
Oh. We're gonna see more of him speak to Ryuzaki, I guess.
What do you know? So L is finally gone for good, huh? Too bad. I guess that means there won't be anything interesting to look forward to anymore.
I wasn't sure if he was crying. Jeez, you are a little psychopath.
Now everything that was in my way is gone, and everyone else still believes in me. It's only a matter of time before I get rid of the police. What do you
You've
think
lost
of that,
it.
Al? This is my perfect victory! That's right! I win!
Absolutely lost it.
Did you say you no longer have anything interesting to look forward to, Ryuk? Well, I promise that won't be the case. From now on, I'm going to show you the creation of a new world.
So they cut this for the other scene on top of the rooftops. I think that's such a waste to have cut this scene. I think this scene should have stayed. Oh, wait, maybe not. Oh, wow, this is incredibly brutal. I still think this should have been kept in, though.
I am the god of the new world.
I actually feel like some of that should have been kept in 100%. I think actually seeing the descent into madness and the absolute brutality of his actions would have been incredibly important to have kept it in. I feel like we should have had the funeral scene because it shows exactly why L is continuing to live on, but also that break in light, that psychotic episode he had, and the way that his face just switches in an instant, and the tension at not having L to rebuttal, to not have that connection with him anymore. I think that scene gives us far more insight into the mental state of Light than what we had in episode 26 with him just on the rooftop and creating the new world. As beautiful as that scene was, especially in terms of like the moody atmosphere and the lightning flashing in the background, we could have had something similar with him leaving the funeral and still have the brutal deaths of the Yatsuba group, because I think the deaths were too easy in episode 26. And I know people are going to be like, why do you want them to have horrible deaths? Because the horrible deaths truly show you the depravity of Light, that truly show just how horrible and cruel he is as a person. Kind of got a glimpse of that when we saw him kill Iba and Iba's son and wife coming in to find him dead. We got a glimpse of that brutality and callousness that he has. Doesn't care that essentially he's killing someone that has a wife and child at home, like, has no regard for anyone's life but his own. The deaths of the Yatsoba group was so incredibly simplistic in comparison. It lacks the callousness that Light truly holds. So I feel like they could have combined the two quite well. I'm just not sure why they cut the funeral. I feel like the funeral scene was important to keep in. Maybe they just felt like it really wasn't necessary. Maybe it gave too much away. Maybe they wanted Light's descent into madness to be more subtle as the episodes go on, and that was just a bit too much of an exposition rather than building up the suspense and mystery that it did in episode 26, with it being him and Ryuk on the rooftop and then seeing the amount of people that he killed and then killing Weddy and Aiba and then the Yatsuba group. But still, I feel like the deaths of the Yatsuba group should have been the same deaths that we saw in that cutscene. And I think we need a reminder sometimes of just how cruel and brutal he is. Like, again, we did see elements of that. But the fact that Weddy got a more brutal death than the Yatsuba group is kind of crazy, in all honesty. I'm glad I watched that cutscene. I can maybe understand why they didn't keep it in, because again, it's just too much exposition into Light, and maybe they want to build that up slowly over the coming episodes rather than just putting everything out there. And it was too much in terms of telling rather than showing. The whole, we're going to pretend you're alive, whereas the show just allows you to understand that through like little bits of dialogue instead of like complete explanations. So maybe that's what they were trying to do. I can understand why they cut Elle's funeral, but I am a little sad that it was cut because I think it was just a great way to show them come together to celebrate his life and that they're going to continue on his mission, but at the same time giving a further look into like gloating over Elle's grave as if almost expecting a response, only to realize that he's never going to have that competitive element with Elle again. It's that silent, stoic realization of there is no battle of wits here anymore. There is no coming back from what I've done. I have no one to battle with. It's now, to him, almost feels like smooth sailing. And I think maybe that look of stoicism on his face is a realization that it's not going to be boring for Ryuk because he's going to see more deaths. He's going to like build this new world, but Light is not going to have that dynamic with anybody again. Now that Elle is gone, Light is kind of on his own. Maybe he will have that dynamic with new characters, but I don't know. We got a glimpse into 2 other characters at the end of episode 26, and maybe there's going to be that kind of battle of wits again, but I'm not sure it's going to be the same dynamic as what we had with Elle. I feel like that was something special, and I am a tad concerned as to how the next few episodes will go. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next time, bye!